Hello, this is Jeannie Scheer, Aquatic Invasive Species Outreach Specialist for UW-Madison's Division of Extension Natural Resources Institute. Welcome to this edition of Trainings in Small Bites. In this video, we're going to go over the AIS Bait Shop Initiative. I'll be using the AIS acronym for Aquatic Invasive Species. The Bait Shop Initiative is based on the work of Dr. Bret Shaw, Assistant Professor of Life Sciences Communications with UW-Madison and Environmental Communication Specialist with UW-Madison Extension. Bret conducted a quantitative survey in 2010 and found that 71% of bait shop owners felt they had a chance to play a role in AIS prevention. 74% already distributed information. Next, he conducted qualitative research on bait shops through phone calls and in-person visits. In person, he talked to both shop owners and customers, besides doing observations in order to better understand customers and staff interactions. He also looked at the types of items already in the shops. He visited 11 shops in Shawano, Spooner, and the Woodruff-Minocqua area. During sales and license purchases, the work was done before the Go Wild licensing system was in place. Shop staff had good opportunities to provide information. He utilized social marketing tools, which I will discuss in a moment, in a pilot program and got good results that led to the program we have today. These tools included utilizing social norms, effective messaging, prompts, and encouraging commitments. Prompts are items we provide to people to remind them to engage in specific behaviors as close as possible in time and space to when they'll be effective. So please don't refer to them as swag or propaganda. Swag doesn't really serve any purpose other than filling up the junk drawer, and propaganda has a terrible connotation. Next, notice that the stickers both include our usual messaging and specific instructions to inspect, drain, remove, never move. All of our AIS outreach materials also include the Stop Aquatic Hitchhikers logo, which is a nationally recognized brand, to remind people of the clean, drain, dry message used sometimes in Wisconsin as a tagline, such as on our small boot brushes, and it's often seen on the materials of other states. Stop Aquatic Hitchhikers has a website and style guide that includes the logos, and there are specifics on how they should be used. Our included messaging is slightly different on most of our materials, so you can check with me if you need some clarifications. The stickers also serve the purpose of making something into a socially normalized behavior. For example, the white and red sticker used on trailers to remind people to take the steps when they're getting the boat loaded up. Since the trailer is sitting in the parking lot until the boater comes in, others may see it along with the matching boat launch sign and get the idea these are the steps that are the normal thing to do, and people accept that and do it in Wisconsin, so they will too. It's also a really good sign of commitment when a person puts that sticker on their trailer. One of the research findings was that the owners of the shops wanted something more straightforward to give the customers than our full-size brochure. Although we can give them this brochure that we use during Clean Boats, Clean Waters boat inspections and in displays, just the nuts and bolts are provided on a 1/3 two-sided card we use for the bait shops. To help the shop staff be effective, frequently asked question sheets were developed and printed on cardstock. We usually give each shop 1 or 2 to keep on hand as a reference. Note that these also keep the messaging simple in order to have basic answers ready at a glance. All of this effort is based on a practice often referred to as community-based social marketing. The prompts, social marketing, asking for a commitment are all key parts of social marketing. So in terms of recognition, putting an article in the paper, in your newsletters, or giving the shop a certificate display gives them recognition. When they post the article or certificate in the shop, it also shows their commitment. Don't forget to tag them if you post their commitment in social media. In the Bait Shop Initiative folder, our AIS Partnership UW box folders, you can find Oneida County's version of the certificate that you are welcome to adapt and use. And I want to thank Stephanie Boismanu for providing that. By the way, a report from Cornell University showed the bait dealers in Wisconsin had a much higher engagement rate and knowledge of AIS issues than others. Maybe that's because of this initiative. In late 2020, we began using a reporting form that I'll show in a moment. A Bait Shop Initiative project was created for each county in the SWIMS database. Tracking the data has a couple of purposes. As staff changes in organizations, they'll be able to go back into the data to see where efforts to engage the shops has taken place. Over time, it'll also help me and future AIS outreach specialists manage the supplies used for the program. There's also a research component. Just as we were wrapping up our 2021 season, Bret asked me if I had any information he could use to go back and talk to shop owners about the initiative and how it's been going. We were able to download the 2021 data to provide that information. As of this recording, we're not mapping the actual shops, so many come and go that it could create a messy lap layer that really isn't helpful. After we get through the data collection process for a couple of years, we may decide to create stations for the shops for reporting if the partnership feels it's useful though. So here's the reporting form. It's just one page, but to make it visible, it's been split for 2 slides. The top has the same type basic information you find on most WDNR forms. In the paragraph on how to complete the form, there is a reminder that the station number to be used for data entry in SWIMS is the generic station 100334438. That's actually the capital. So it doesn't go anywhere on the map. Fill in the information about who the data collector is, AKA who is making the shop visit, the date, etc. Since you're building a relationship, get the name of the person you're talking to. Fill in the shop name and address. The GPS coordinates are only necessary if you don't have an address. Make sure you get a shop phone number so you can make check-in calls to see if they need anything later. Include the visit type line. If you're not sure if the shop has ever had a site visit, put it in the comments section at the bottom of the page, along with any other information not asked for that you think is helpful. The information on the lower half of the form should be most useful when it comes time to make your follow-up visits. Speaking of which, make sure you do a follow-up by phone or in person sometime over the course of the year. They may have run out of supplies and not remembered how to reach you for more. They may have decided you gave them too much stuff and want to scale back. They may have a good customer feedback that would be helpful for all of us to know. Obviously, the first question is based on how you feel things went. That's the overall response of the bait shop. Then the rest are qualitative and self-explanatory. Just check the boxes and fill in the blanks. Don't worry about counting the exact numbers of what you have left or found still there from earlier visits, but give as good an estimate as you can. This should help you know what to order for the following year. In turn, it will help us know what the program needs to keep on hand. Make use of the comment box and make sure you add what you wrote there in SWIMS during data entry. If anything, these boxes are underutilized. If your LTE or intern is the one doing the outreach, encourage them to make comments about anything you want to be sure to know, such as if the shop is new, has new owners, has closed, or is having a really hard time figuring out how to display what you've provided. Several long-term AIS partners have helped come up with questions to ask on the form. And as we use it, you may find some really helpful and some not as helpful, and come up with questions that could be helpful to add. So keep in mind that we can tweak this as the years tick by. The certificate, a copy of this list of supplies and more are available in our UW Box Shop Initiative folder, UW Box Bait Shop Initiative folder. But here's a glance at the items people order for the shops. Start small and then adjust as you learn more about the shop's needs. If you go back a month later and find people are actively picking items up and taking them a lot, then feel free to order more. Areas with a lot of tourists coming and going may need more supplies than a shop that mainly services locals. You can see photos of most of these in the AIS publications catalog available on the Clean Boats, Clean Waters Resources page and on the WDNR website. I recommend limiting the baseball card sized wild and watch cards to just a couple species of the highest concern in the area. Also be aware that sometimes we have supply chain issues with floating keychains or the bobbers, so those won't always be available. If you happen across what you know or suspect is AIS in the shop, such as a crayfish, report it through the DNR tip hotline, 800-847-9367, or cell #367. Do not confront the shop on the spot. There are two reasons for this. First, it's the WDNR wardens who handle potential violations in bait shops, not us. Once you call the tip line, also give your regional DNR AS coordinator a heads up so that if something comes with a report, they won't be blindsided. Second, this is not a monitoring project. This program is 100% outreach and relationship building. You don't want to alienate the shop owners and staff. You want them to come to the point where if they think they have gotten a problem species in, they'll call the wardens or you to let someone know. You can certainly give them information on potential AIS that could show up in a bait shop. If you have any questions, please contact me and I'm happy to help. I send out the shop staff frequently asked question sheets myself, but everything else is at the DNR warehouse in Madison. So order the rest of your supplies through DNR AIS at wisconsin.gov. Thank you and have fun doing the bait shop initiative.